Dean, I keep seeing stuff about this sovereign wealth fund. What is that? Everyone's asking about it.
A sovereign wealth fund is when it's usually when a country has a surplus. Okay, they take in more in revenues, whether it be taxes, whatever, than they spend as a country. So you have excess money, right? So what they do is they take that, they create a sovereign wealth fund. It's sovereign, the country owns it, right? And they invest it for a return.
Okay.
Right? And it's pretty common out there. You know, Singapore has, Saudi Arabia for sure. It's usually in countries that have so much budget surplus that they want to invest the money.
Okay.
Right? So technically, that's the basic definition of a sovereign wealth fund. Norway has a huge one, which I was shocked to find out.
So what does that have to do with us?
Okay, so there's no sugar in that. So this whole thing came up recently, I think was because Trump said he wants to create a sovereign wealth fund and acquire 50% of ByteDance. I mean, of TikTok from ByteDance.
Right.
And, you know, and apparently that's going to fix the problem with the ban, right? So that's what the idea is, but...
So put the ownership in the American people.
But we don't have a surplus. We have a 32, God knows how much, $34 trillion deficit. So you're going to get the money from? I don't know, right? And the other problem with that idea that I think, again, these things will more than likely evolve and change in the coming weeks. But the law says 100% divestiture, not 50%. So I don't know how, you got to either change the law and figure out how you create that wealth fund because we have a deficit. I don't know, maybe he's cutting all these crazy costs right now and say, I'm going to take 50 billion from that, create this wealth fund to buy 50% of TikTok. Still needs to change the law.
Right.
Right? It says 100% divestiture, not 50%. I do think it's kind of a, you know, it's somewhat of a brilliant idea in my perspective. This is my opinion, right? Instead of having, notwithstanding the fact that 50% isn't enough to get the law to go away, that's something that needs to be worked out. But conceptually, instead of having a bunch of private equity players come in and take over TikTok, right? Private equity, billionaires, yada,
Right.
yada, yada, Mr. Wonderful and Frank McCourt and all those guys, Elon Musk, whatever, right? Instead of doing that, you use funds that technically belong to the American people, sovereign funds, right? And you purchase 50% of TikTok. To me, the optic of it is, hey, TikTok generates, it's its own ecosystem over here that generates so much revenues and so much productivity, right? I don't know, it's like, you know, 10 billion worth of
Jobs,
ads,
small
jobs
businesses.
for the creators and the creator economy. It's a creator economy, right? So conceptually, from an optical standpoint, look, you create a fund that is owned by the American people and they buy 50% of something to allow it to continue and let the creator economy flourish, which is a good thing for everybody. So I think that's conceptually great idea, optically great idea, but how are you going to execute? Let's see.
We'll see. Okay.